What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to the Nintendo Open Air Podcast. First episode of the year. We hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday season. Of course, now that the holidays are over, we are into speculation season. As we discussed last week, we will likely see a January Direct. And what will we find so far for 2018 is pretty barren, so we're looking forward to that. We'll get into that later. Before we get into the news and leaks for tonight, let me introduce our panel. We've got a pretty full house tonight. We've got Momo, we've got Z, our arcade bunny Eric, and of course Max is with us as always. So, topic of the night, first topic. iLife has a $10 million lawsuit win against Nintendo. This is regarding the Wii's motion sensitivity detection.
Pocket change at this point to Nintendo, I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like a couple years ago that 10 million would really hurt. Or at least more than it will now. I don't think, you know what I mean? They'll appeal it and then they'll fight it because Nintendo always does.
Yeah,
and
Nintendo will pay $20 million to not have to pay that 10 million.
Exactly. They totally will.
I mean,
they are that way.
They've got lawyers on retainer. I mean, they fight YouTubers tooth and nail.
Yeah.
This has been through several appeals already, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Yeah, I think they said they do have. Yeah, they said they have an option to appeal this one still, and they will. It's like it's weird with patent trolls because, like, fault doesn't really come into question. Like, I'm sure Nintendo never heard of this company.
Yeah.
Before this lawsuit, and they developed, it could just be lateral thinking where they just happen to develop a similar technology after somebody already patented it. But I feel like you should play some sort of, this company makes things that, like, devices where you can tell, like for infants and for the elderly, like you can tell if somebody fell over or something, and it uses an accelerometer.
When you come up with a new use for something, that counts as a new invention.
Yeah, I feel like it should. If it's, if it's not occupying the same space, like there's a difference between I've fallen and I can't get up and Wii bowling. Yeah. Although not necessarily.
But that's the thing is, and I don't think like it. Nobody in either space should be able to sue anybody. It would seem like, but that's we live in an era. It's.
Thing is, have you heard of iLife before?
It's kind of like how bitcoins eventually will take up so much power to mine that it'll be more power consumption than the entire world's output or whatever. It's the same kind of thing where we're in an unsustainable situation with patent laws right now, right? Yeah. It's everything is a lawsuit, and there's so much money and cycles and effort spent. You know what I mean? There's more money and effort spent on the legal wrangling behind inventing something than there is in the actual inventing of it.
This is where PlayStation and Xbox do good on themselves, is because they never invent these wacky things. You never hear about them getting sued. It seems like Nintendo can't put out anything without getting sued.
That's true. That's true. They stick to tried and true in general. They're not, but that's why we love Nintendo for, their faults, is because, especially me, man, because you guys are not as gimmick fanatical as I am. But I would not be a Nintendo fan if they weren't constantly doing all this weird crap, and that potentially opens them up to this kind of stuff. So
we were talking before you showed up tonight about that. The IR sensor on the bottom of the right Joy-Con.
Oh yeah, no, you can totally.
You're just waiting for that.
You can check for rectal polyps with that. That's my use that I think we're gonna see.
I think it's gonna be like the NFC thing on the Wii U, where we just wait for years, going, I wonder if they're ever gonna use that. But,
and then something will come out that everybody's mad for, and we can't get.
No. But yeah, I don't know. Nintendo's always getting sued. They always appeal. Like this one goes back to the Wii and the Wii U, I think. But if I was them, I would just pay the 10 million and get over it. But I guess they just like to fight it because they don't ever want to lose one of these things, because maybe they feel it makes them open to others.
Yeah,
I think it does. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like with their IP control, they're very, very consistent about it, and I think there's a certain logic to that.
Yeah.
But I also, it also sets precedence, like you said, in being open to others. Not only will people just be coming out of the woodwork, more so, but also, it's a case of, well, now later that same exact patent can come up again. Well, now do you own this? Well, now other
Yeah.
people, yeah, exactly, and yeah, going forward with new developments, now they have to pay licensing fees all the time and stuff. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's got to be some point of pride too with Nintendo saying, because the Wii was a huge success, and I say this was our idea.
Yeah.
Kind of like defending a child in a way. Nintendo.
And again, I like to point to the iPhone as an example. The iPhone, I remember when it came out, and for those of us who were kind of gadget freaks already, the iPhone was absolutely nothing new by any stretch. There was all sorts of stuff that was already out. It did nothing new, but it was a little more polished and a little bit, you know what I mean? It was just a little bit slicker and a little bit better than anything else that had quite been done, and marketed like hell, of course. Right?
It helped to pop, but at the same point, you could say that the NES did nothing new. That there were other cartridge-based consoles that were before.
I would argue, yes. Yeah. I would totally argue that. I'm totally in agreement with that sentiment.
Yeah.
I don't think the NES did anything new whatsoever, except just be so much better. So much better than the previous ones. Yeah, they just nailed it in a way that nobody had quite done before.
Yeah.
And again, the big one, I'm putting in my initials into this pinball game, and I started putting in NES. Thank you very much, gentlemen and lady. Which, yeah, of course, I'm playing Stern Pinball in the background during the podcast. But yeah, I
glad to see we can hold your attention.
Well, like Mo, you said, right? Pinball is one of those games that the downside of pinball is, like, if you do really well, the game just keeps going and going until you get to the point where I don't want to play anymore. So so I was just rolling with it for a while, and it's like, oh, podcast is starting. Ooh, but I'm still doing good on this one ball.
So, I imagine like somewhere there's like the King of Kong type stuff where people are like, man, I got to go to the bathroom, but I still have 2 more balls left. And they're just standing up there powering through it with Monster energy drinks and it's like the really good players. Yeah, like I feel like it could go on for a while. Online scores, man. Online leaderboards, like they always say, it's like a selling feature of games, but whenever I see it, I'm just like, why should I even try? These people.
Me too. It's like the leaderboards for Mario Kart 8.
I'll be like, yeah, or even Odyssey has like leaderboards for like little races.
The jump rope.
And then like you'll just be like, how? Yeah.
It appeals to a certain, competitive segment of the population. You were excited to be on Rocket League's leaderboard.
Yeah, I do all right, I guess, but that's just because I put in a bunch of time. It doesn't mean I have any skill in it.
It was more fun in the Nintendo 64 days when I used to try to get the fastest time against my friend, and we just kept getting like a little better at a time. Because I don't know, just
prove it. You had to bring your cartridge over to their house or take a photo and then go to the 1-hour photo place to get it developed.
Yeah, it's ironic. No, I didn't send it into Nintendo Power. No.
Yeah.
It's definitely different. Competing against your friends it's different than seeing someone that's like at the near perfect time on there. Or 10 or 15 people that have the near perfect time.
Yeah, like you can see that, and like with Mario Golf on the 3DS was another one where it's like it shows you've just got like it groups you in a chunk. It's like I'm tied with like 1,000 other people for 173rd place.
Not all inspiring. Like, I gotta go for it now.
Yeah. And then like you look and like the top score is like -30. It's like, how? How did they get every single hole in one? Like, no. Yeah. But oh well. I don't need to
Getting back to our topic.
Yeah.
Talking about Nintendo's lawsuit. There's another little bit of patent information that came out this week, and it's a company called Taisho Pharmaceuticals, which is obviously a Japanese company, I would imagine. They filed for a quality of life patent. And of course, quality of life, we think of Nintendo. What do you think's going on? Do you think Nintendo is continuing to roll with this idea from Iwata's era, or is this just a coincidence?
Was it related to Nintendo?
It didn't say it, just they filed for a patent that was quality of life patent.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess quality of
I don't
life
think
is
it was related to Nintendo's. Yeah. Well, maybe, you know what? Here's the thing. Nintendo putting their toe in the quality of life industry, right? Because they were looking into doing some stuff, on that side of the house. That might have been what sparked this lawsuit in the first place. I don't know. We'd have to look back into the history on that, but that would kind of make sense, right? There's a lot of lawsuits that are like that. Remember, the Beatles tried to sue Apple because back in the 70s, I guess, they had to something to do with
the Beatles are out on Apple Records. That's the name of the label.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. So Beatles were Apple Records. Apple Computer, they signed some agreement back in like the 70s saying they could never ever get in the music business. So when iTunes became a thing, there was a big ass lawsuit.
So who won that lawsuit?
I think Apple had to pay some money.
Oh wow.
I think, yeah, that was why the Beatles were not on iTunes for a very long time.
Yeah.
Both of them are good for it.
Yeah.
Whoever. They've both got enough FU money that they can make anything go away.
Yeah.
Just like Nintendo does. But
especially right now.
They just like to fight.
Yeah.
Nintendo's like, we've got lawyers, let's use them. I don't know. I think we don't have much else to say on that.
Right. So, talking about quality of life, there's a little game that a couple of people here at the podcast have been playing called Uno. Quality of life of that game is apparently not going to be going on much longer, as it will be discontinued in online services for Uno.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You said discontinued in June, right?
Mm-hmm. Of this year.
I believe June of this year.
Yeah,
they said the online services are gonna.
That's a damn short run.
Yeah,
and with as rock solid as their online seems to be.
See, that's the thing. Is it's like online services just suck, and their response to it is, okay, we're just gonna get rid of it. Like, I haven't played it, but all I've heard out of you on Uno is complaining about how matches
online
and matches crash out and you can't even join them and whatever. Like,
and
you
this
and Eric
wasn't
have both tried to play, right?
to Switch,
no,
because I think they specifically mentioned mobile and stuff like that, which probably shares the same servers. So I mean, it's been out for a while. If this is probably just a port of the mobile game, although it's a decent enough game.
I believe it was also on PlayStation and probably Xbox as well.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure those have been out much longer than a few months ago. But for someone who's bought the game and then basically 7 months afterwards, it's pretty stinky.
Good thing I got it on sale.
Yeah, I didn't get it on sale, but now that they're going to end it, that makes me want to play it because there's an end date now. So otherwise,
go
I
ahead,
probably never
try.
played
I
it.
dare you.
Try. Well, even though everyone's been having problems with it, surprisingly, I never got booted.
That's true, mate.
You know what? You should email them, Eric, and suggest to them they add microtransactions to keep it alive.
Yeah.
You can be their
That'll
whale.
pay for better.
You can play to get like a +4 card or something.
Yeah, just have all +4 cards for like $20.
Different decks.
Somebody would do it. Yeah, that's the way they could probably do it, is just have
ruin
different decks.
Well, the game's already broken, so I guess ruining it is a step up.
If you're playing by yourself and probably local, I don't know if I'm imagining it's probably got a 2-player local or maybe even more.
Local.
It doesn't
have
fine.
online friends, which is weird.
Yeah.
And the
If
local
you and some
multiplayer,
buddies just get together and have nothing to do.
but local multiplayers for Switch. I mean, you have to have a Switch for each person. It's not
Yeah,
okay.
and I don't
It's
know
pretty
anyone
poorly pulled off
personally.
anyway. Like the thing that really like bothered me more than anything is like there was no way when Eric and I were playing, there was no way for me to just say online with friends and have like a lobby
Yeah,
for us to
which is
start.
ridiculous.
Like I said,
Yeah.
I think the fact that we ran
Oh,
into each other
sounds like
online is because we
Splatoon.
were two of the. Well, at least like Jason and I can play league matches in Splatoon together,
I know,
you know,
I'm kidding.
and private matches. But the fact that like, I think the only reason Eric and I ran into each other is because we were playing at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's
and
why.
there was nobody else playing Uno on the Switch at 5 a.m. except for
Yeah.
those two other people. But yeah, it's like I don't know. It's not the end of the world. It's not Splatoon shutting down their servers, so it's just Uno. But it is a little disappointing for somebody who just got the game.
Who's waiting for that announcement for 2018? That
I'm
Splatoon
waiting
servers,
I'm
Splatoon 1
waiting
servers
for-
are going down.
I'm waiting
ARMS
for
servers.
fall
Oh.
fall 2018.
Okay, let's put some bets down now.
Yeah.
Which do you think will go down first, Splatoon 1 servers or ARMS servers?
Probably
I think it's
Splatoon 1. I would
I
think.
think it's neck and neck.
I mean, the safe bet would be Splatoon 1.
Yeah.
But
I
I
wouldn't
think-
be surprised if Wii U, you know, like how they did with the Wii,
Oh,
like
it goes
where
on
at
10
a
more
certain
years.
point where they just said, you know, like we're cutting off
Yeah.
the online services for Wii. I think they
Mm.
with the Wii U they've got even less of a user base to upset, and they probably can bet safely that at least half of the people that bought a Wii U bought a Switch,
Mhm.
if not more. That would be
Not all.
a good statistic for somebody to. This is what percentage of Wii U owners own a Switch, because I bet it's pretty high.
Yeah. But I don't know anyone personally who owned a Wii U or a Switch, so I don't have any anecdotal evidence for that.
I know
except all of us.
at
did.
least two people that owned
Well,
a Wii U
in
that have a Switch.
personally.
Outside of this group.
Physically. I mean, like, that I've met
Everyone
in person.
here.
I have 4 real life Wii U friends, you know, one of whom I married, but yeah.
And she doesn't have a Switch yet.
Cuz she's on mine.
Yeah.
And you know, she has a child to keep her
That
busy.
kills a lot of cells. I mean, that's why it would be hard for it to outsell the 3DS. Because I bought like 4 3DSs.
Yeah, she and I each had a 3DS. I bought multiple 3DSs. I mean, I don't know how those numbers are going to work out because, right, 3DS, we all know who bought 2 3DSs here?
I bought 4.
Just
Mo,
two.
you bought
I bought 3.
You bought 3.
Well, actually, I guess I bought 4 if you count the 2DS I bought for my daughter.
Well, see, there you go. But that's for a separate person, so that doesn't.
But
quite count.
for myself, I bought a blue one originally, but I was like, man, but that was they only had the XL in red and blue at the time, so I was like, I guess blue. I wish they had one in black. And then when they came out with the black one, I said, okay, I'm gonna get the black one. And then I was like, not gonna move on to the new 3DS, and I never expected in my lifetime they would ever do a Metroid themed anything. And then when that Samus came out, I was like, it doesn't even look that great, but I love Metroid so much. Damn it, I'm gonna have to go.
I wish that if that Samus one had looked good enough, if the Metroid one had looked cool enough, I would have gotten yet another 3DS. But
it would have been
didn't.
nice if it had an actual Metroid on it somewhere. But
Yeah, or you know,
whatever.
just a really cool, you know, Screw Attack logo or something.
There is a Screw Attack logo on the back.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Actually, now that I
on
think
eBay.
about it, I bought 6 3DS.
Six.
So Max, how many for you?
I think she's preoccupied at the moment.
Okay.
But
Well,
I think
she's returning.
I think she only had 1 or 2. Well, I think she had the original one, and then she has I think the Animal Crossing Pop Tart.
I'll tell you how I got 6. I bought the original one, then I bought the 3DS XL, and then I didn't like it, so I bought original one again, and then I bought the new 3DS XL, and then I bought the small new 3DS XL. I mean, small new 3DS, and then that one like broke down, and I had to get a refurbished one, but it was like $110, so it's almost like buying.
And then he got the new one, but it was an old new one.
Wow.
How many
Max, did you have a total of 2
3DSs?
3DSs? Or did you only have the Pop-Tart? I can't remember. Oh, well. Or the new Pop-Tart.
How
But
many
yeah,
do you have,
I'm-
Jason?
I had 3. I have the
You got 3
original
discs?
one that I bought at launch, and then I upgraded to the Animal Crossing Pop-Tart one, and then I got the Fire Emblem Special Edition new 3DS
Ooh.
XL.
I don't
Okay, now
think I
you're-
knew that about you, but it makes
Now
sense.
your old 3DSs, did you sell them on eBay or trade them into GameStop, or what'd you do with them?
He street
No,
passes
no.
with them daily.
No, they're in the other room in storage, so
Holy wow! All right, I sold all of mine on eBay.
I
I
could
kept-
never trade that Pop-Tart one, though. I've spent
Yeah.
so much time on it.
Yeah, I kept my original ones. My blue one actually somehow started cracking around the street
Yeah.
pass light, and then eventually that broke off, and then now the hinge is like separate, so I can actually separate the screens, but it still works. So
Yeah, my Pop-Tart one has a crack that's forming there. It's just very thin, but you can see it. And then when
yeah,
the screen
Yeah.
really pops when you like open it, it's something's
Yeah.
not right with the hinge. So that was a major
That'll
decision, point of the decision to get a
Yeah.
XL.
that's what really helped force me into
It seemed,
getting one.
it
And
seemed
it-
like they came out with a new version almost every year or every year and a half, I think, something like that.
And what's funny is at the time they had that NES one, and I was like, man, I don't know. Do I get the NES one or do I get the black one?
The
And I was
NES
like, man, I
one
just
never
hate that it had
quite-
the stupid NES controller on the. Like, I liked
Yeah.
it when it was open, but I didn't like it when it was closed.
Yeah, exactly. I never
It's
really
like-
liked that NES one. I
Oh,
had a
the
buddy that
GBA
picked it up.
NES one I love.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Although I never got that, but I always wanted.
Yeah, totally. I
So, yeah, I
got.
don't see that happening with the Switch, unless they release a new one every year.
I
maybe.
could see they could do everything
They'll
with
do
Joy-Con.
colors. Yeah, you're right. Most of it's going to be Joy-Con. I don't think it'll be the unit itself, but I will see a gold one or something.
There'll be an anniversary of the NES come up, and they'll put
So
out
you
an
guys-
anniversry Joy-Con.
You had 6, Eric. I think you beat me.
Well, I mean, actually, if there's 7 if you count 2 refurbished.
Wow.
Good God, man! And these are all for you yourself.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to
No,
change
between-
your name from Arcade Bunny to
Yeah. the
3DS?
3DS bunny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously, man. Like
Yeah.
you need to talk to Nintendo about how much you've spent with them and
Yeah.
Take some
like
pictures.
seriously. Yeah,
Take
like
pictures
you
and tag
need.
them on Twitter.
That's
We'll-
more than one a year, isn't it, for the lifespan of the 3DS?
Well,
I think so.
yeah, a little bit more than one a year.
It's
yeah.
getting pretty close.
I got all the Zelda ones and one's still in a box. So like I was like, wow, I bought too many of these. But good God, man. And I bought a blue one originally, and like I was waiting for a Zelda one to come out, and then Super Mario 3D Land came out, and then they announced Mario Kart, and it was like, all right, I got to buy one of these things. I guess I'm going to give up and on waiting for a Zelda one. And then literally a week after I bought the thing, they announced the Zelda one. So,
Well, I
and
feel-
I never, ever do this. I
Mhm.
just used it for a couple of weeks. I'm planning to return it and buy the Zelda one. It's the
That's
only
fine.
time I've ever done that.
Well, I
the
would
heart
feel bad
wants
if
what the
I-
heart wants.
I would feel bad if I still had all of them, but I've resold all of them, so I don't feel that bad.
And with the
about it.
price you made out of them, you probably could have bought at least one other one.
I never resell anything.
Okay.
It all goes in a box, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm kind of like that too. I've even got
Same
my
here.
broken hinge blue one still hanging around.
And that's the other thing is I don't keep them pristine. I use the hell out of them. It sounds like all of us kind of pretty much do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have to
Sort of.
check anything.
I thought about transferring my broken blue hinge one over to my black one that works fine, and I just never
See,
have gotten around to it.
yeah, I've done the same thing. I try to transfer anything that I care about onto the nicest, especially at the end of its life,
Yeah.
right? I'll transfer
Yeah.
everything to the nicest one that's still in the box. I'll get a new battery for it off of eBay or off of Amazon. And then it, it goes into suspend mode and mothballs. It goes into the vault, right?
Yeah.
Until my child's old enough or whatever.
I'm kind of afraid to buy quote unquote new batteries off of Amazon, and I guess it was sealed.
Huh?
You could
I'm
buy
kind of
it from
afraid to buy,
Nintendo.
like, from Nintendo. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you can go to Nintendo Online Store. They still have old batteries around for a long time. I have had good luck, just hunt around and find what seems to be a reputable brand, or you know what I mean, a brand that sells a lot of other cell phone batteries and stuff and has good reviews. I've always had good luck with that.
Remember when they released that new small 3DS with Mario on the cover, Mario Luigi or whatever it was, New Super Mario?
Was that the Black Friday one?
Yeah, the Black Friday was $99.
Yep.
Well, I passed on it, and then later I passed on it, and then I don't know, one of my buttons stopped working. I think the R button. I was like, crap. I was like, I can't find, like, they stopped selling small new 3DSs. So I went to eBay, and I was like, I saw all these ones on eBay, but I couldn't trust them. I'm like, I don't really know if that's truly new or not. I'm just like, forget it. I'm not gonna.
eBay's
I'm intrigued to see how many 2DSs you buy. How many 2DS XLs you buy?
I've bought none.
Not yet.
And if that Pokeball one had been a 3DS, I would own it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we should probably mention there, we mentioned this last week in passing kind of, but the 3DS production does look to be shutting down as it is in Europe currently, ending production for 3DS. So 2DS will be our only option in the future.
Yeah. So
if it's
at this point, which means the black market price for the 3D ones is going to go up on eBay.
Yeah. Those are suddenly going to become expensive.
But Eric, you don't have enough left to sell
in the box, man. If the prices go up high enough.
With the original Animal Crossing, what's it called? Happy Home Designer box.
Oh yeah.
Did you just say Happy Home Designer, or was that just an audio glitch?
I don't know.
Happy Home
Maybe
Designer.
I don't know. I thought I said Happy.
But it was Happy Home Designer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's the sequel. Happy
which you can buy for 20 or 40% off with your My Nintendo discount.
Yeah.
That's a good game if you like.
I hated that game, but yeah, I know some people liked it.
I still haven't played it, but after watching all the videos of it, I was just like, man, this looks not good.
It looks, it did not. I didn't buy it, and I buy a lot of stuff I end up not playing, but that one,
I mean, I had no choice but to buy it because you couldn't get a small new 3DS unless you bought that. Unless you waited for the next year for Black Friday.
Yeah. Why do you like the small one so much?
Because it fits in my pocket better, and what else? Just that.
It looks better.
It looks better too. Yeah.
To me,
that's crisper.
That always irked me about the XLs on the DS too. It was like the 3DS, the OG Mini 3DS. That screen looks sharp. It looks nice. The resolution's perfectly good for that size of a screen. As soon as you scale it up to the XL, it looks
it's a little blockier.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the bigger screen
totally
myself.
Get that.
Yeah,
and I do too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still play on the XL and prefer it, but you know what I mean. I get the draw. Like, the wife always preferred the mini one because she's got tiny little hands. And so I'd be looking over her shoulder, and it like the little 3DS. That's a sharp looking little screen. It really does look nice.
Yeah, I'm kind of obsessed about graphics, which is kind of weird for a Nintendo fan, but just the fact that they had to blow it up, I'm like, I like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I always am one of those bigger is better kind of people. So
bigger would be better if the resolution was better too.
That's true. Yeah.
No, I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I still prefer the larger, but I do see the benefit to the smaller one to some degree.
At the same token, I enjoy the Game Boy ports that are on the Wii U.
Also, like I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems like the small new 3DS has louder speakers than the the new XL one and the old XL.
I remember people saying that the speakers were worse on the XL than they were on the original, like before the new.
Yeah.
New. But yeah, it's sad that that they're gonna get you to only have to buy a 2DS now.
I've just been thinking about that recently. Am I the only one that really hopes Nintendo never goes down the road of new Switch or anything like that?
I wonder if they will. I feel like they kind of screw themselves that way because it's like there was Mario Brothers and then new Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, what
No,
are they going to do next?
I don't want them to do new Switch. Oh, go ahead, Z.
Well, I was just going to say I don't think there's going to be any more 2D Super Mario Brothers. But
I thought he was talking about. Were you talking about a new Switch hardware or new?
You're talking about a new Switch hardware, Jason, right?
Right. Yeah. And basically just the name. I don't like the term new. Give it something. Call it something else.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, but here's the thing: is I think a mid-generation hardware refresh is it's pretty standard for Nintendo, especially with their handheld hardware.
For anything that's successful, really.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do an upgraded Wii. They did a downgraded Wii.
Well, that's true. What I mean. More in their
they downgraded it twice actually.
Side, I can't think of any mid-generation upgrades they've done on their consoles. It's always been on the handhelds, but they've done it since the Game Boy, right? When everybody was hankering for a 16-bit handheld, they come out with the Game Boy Color that still doesn't have a friggin' backlight.
Right.
And then they did a bunch of different variations of the GBA, although that really wasn't like, you know what I mean? Even the SP was still, it played just the same games. It wasn't anything, it didn't do anything new.
I wish they had added a backlight to the original Game Boy Advance design. I liked that layout just fine, although the SP was cool to have a foldable version that easily fit in your pocket.
Yeah. What always sold me on the SP is that it was the same shape as the original Game Boy, basically.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I liked about it, is it was basically the
Game Boy,
but foldable. That always had a nostalgia, thing for me. But they've done these iterative upgrades, and I think it's mobile technology, phones, right? There are people who replace their phones yearly.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it every 2 years. So I see Nintendo doing a hardware refresh on this before too long.
Everybody's jumped into that game now too with PlayStation and Xbox.
And, granted. Yes, totally. But I think I would buy it. I really hope that it's like I can just buy the unit. Right? Then this one becomes Liz's, and
I think
just buy the tablet, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think so. I agree.
Even though the Switch
I wish they would do it.
Even though the Switch is a hybrid console, I still look at it as like a home console, and it would just annoy me if they had a new version, because I don't know anyone who takes their Switch with them like everywhere they go. Like, it's not really that.
Not everywhere, but it's. There's people. But you know what? I didn't Game Boy Advance everywhere I went. And I'm sure Z didn't take his Game Boy.
Well,
not the Advance.
Just for the
3DS had the Street Pass hook.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised though. I carried my Game Boy a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
How big it was.
I think the 3DS is really the first system and only system that I ever really carried everywhere. But if it's like if it's a road trip, I would take my Game Boy Advance.
Well, let's backtrack though. Like now we're grown adults. Like when it was the Game Boy, I was riding in my parents' car, so that was a different kind of thing. So of course I took that with me everywhere.
Right.
But now
it's a little hard.
I'm the one driving, and have my kid in the back seat or whatever, then it's something pocket sized is all we got. It's all it's practical.
But it is, for some reason, scarier to me to bring my Switch. And I think we talked about this months and months ago about just like leaving it in the car because you're not really going to carry it on you. Like with a 3DS, it was perfect that you could pop it in your pocket and take it. Now it's like, man, if somebody steals that and they steal all my save data.
Well, and you got to remember when we're talking about portability and taking it with us, we didn't just take it with us to game. It's all the Street Pass function. Because I don't know anybody here that didn't go out of their way to try to get an extra Street Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we should get back to talking about the Switch. So
yeah.
one of the things that we mentioned last week, we didn't really go into, was there was an announcement that Nintendo is delaying 64 gigabyte game cards. I believe that was till 2019 or later or something like that. It was a long time.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was it 20, because they were supposed to come out in the second half of this year.
Right.
I remember they delayed it to 2019.
Yeah, which I don't. I mean, they've said that a few publishers were upset because they were counting on those for releases. I still have a feeling, which they've had no problem putting stuff out digitally on Switch and then getting a card version later. So we might just see that, continue where the physical just comes out later, because that's not going to stop anyone from releasing their game digitally.
Yeah, I don't
to see what the prices are going to be on those, though, too.
I think we're going to enter a new weird era of hybrid installs where you're buying a cartridge that's really only a token that lets you download the rest of the game.
Yeah.
It's like that on a lot of systems, anyway, with
it's already,
PlayStation and Xbox. It's
there's
like
already a bunch of stuff that's kind of like that. It's just kind of another step in that, a baby step in that same direction, I think.
It's almost like a load disc. Like,
What? Nintendo has already done the boxes route, selling empty boxes with a download.
No, very true.
Well, a lot of the other companies do that now. Like, you can buy I remember one of my friends bought a Fallout. It was I think it was like a Fallout bomb. And then inside it's like all the, they'll have you buy special editions now that are like, you get a statue and you get an art book and stickers and then a download code.
Yep.
It's like where they'll have a special edition that doesn't include a physical.
Like that.
Yeah. That's how the Sonic Force, or not Forces, Mania.
This is kind of an aside to this, but I was thinking about it recently. I was at Walmart and I saw a large display, and it was for digital movies. They've got the little cards, and they're $20. It's just a card. What will happen if it does go more digital? Will we eventually see the Nintendo area out of stores disappeared, or other video games?
Well, we've got, my Best Buy has a really large section of
what about accessories?
Digital game cards.
Here's the thing. But that's Best Buy's staying in business because people buy TVs and refrigerators. But this is exactly why GameStop is going in the toilet. And again, the only reason that I buy cartridges anymore is because the 20% off incentive. I mean, with some exceptions, but I mean, half the cartridges, half the games I've purchased on cartridge, I would have purchased on download instead. ARMS, Mario Kart,
cheaper,
Splatoon. If I could get it for the same price, I used to have that cartridge collecting thing, and for Zelda and Odyssey, sure, but for Splatoon and for any multiplayer online game, period, I would have put twice as much time into ARMS if it were not a cartridge I had to swap out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
would say that for almost every game I've got. Yeah.
You know what? Arguably, yes. I haven't touched Sonic Forces yet. Why? Because I have to go through the hassle of swapping the cartridge out. It's not even.
You read the reviews.
But if it were just sitting on my system, I still would have at least played.
Yeah, you would have. It's a lot easier to just load something up. But
and just try it out. Yeah, there's a commitment when you're putting the cartridge in. I got to take something out that I probably would rather be playing than Sonic Forces. Right?
Not just.
I'm part of one of those reward systems too, where I get a 20% discount on stuff, which I know Amazon does, Best Buy does, and it does incentivize me to buy physical. I also still am old enough that I kind of like that, even though that's probably one of the things that's helping to put GameStop out of business is the more people buy digital. Yeah, there's nothing to resell, which is where they make all their money. But back to the 64 gig cards. because we know that there's the Switch tax where the price of the physical expensive because Nintendo is passing that on to the manufacturers. I'm sure that 64-bit cartridge is going to be more expensive, and we'll probably start seeing the $70 or $75 games. Axiom Verge is on sale right now in the eShop for $16. The cartridge version is $30.
Though. Economy of scale. Hopefully they're producing enough Switch cartridges at this point, and will be, because it's taking off and they're selling millions.
The price will come down a little bit.
The price will come down so that it's a little closer to regular disc-based media, because that's what they swore up and down at first, is that the price difference wasn't going to be significant. And if they start producing enough of these custom memory cards, maybe it won't be. Hopefully.
They also said they're not going to discontinue the 3DS. But
they lie all the time about that.
Yeah. Reggie said it's not waggle control.
Every new console will always and forever coexist with their existing offerings.
Yeah, Nintendo never says a console is dead.
Dude, when the Super
Except for the
Nintendo
Wii U
came out, when the Super and the Virtual Boy, when the Super
trust
Nintendo
us, it's dead.
Came out, like when the Super Nintendo came out, the NES was so unacceptably long in the tooth. That was why the Genesis got such a stranglehold on the 16-bit market when it did.
Yeah.
It took so long for Nintendo to come out with a follow-up to the NES.
Yeah.
And they still, all these two systems will coexist. They still were pushing.
They even did a refresh on that hardware too.
Yeah, they did a refresh. Yeah, they did a new mini the top load.
Well, I mean, that's
They
usually they don't
NES.
officially say it's dead, but usually the death knell for a console is when they release the new one. But
it's true. The Wii Mini.
Well, Wii U was the only one I remember where they just were not in stores, and they didn't sell them.
They just pulled the plug. So,
I would love to hear what happened there at some point, which maybe we'll get in 10 years or something.
Maybe the 3DS can just exist in limbo for.
Well,
but I mean, if they don't release a single game for a year, I guess that could kind of be a death knell too.
Kind of jumping ahead in our topic here, but President Kimishima actually addressed this in a way recently. He's been talking his head off. If you haven't been following the news, he basically said that the Switch is too expensive a console to have multiples in the household, as in every family member having their own. So the 3DS was a good option as a affordable and has a good library of games to give to either younger players or inexperienced players. And that's directly from Kimishima.
I guess he should say 2DS now, huh?
That's true.
True, but I guess in Japan they still have them.
I've seen a lot of his quotes have been coming fast and furious on my newsfeed lately, but I had missed that tidbit about the sudden reversal on multiple consoles per household.
Yeah, because they were just saying a few weeks ago that they envisioned it to be something where somebody must have
sat down and looked at the sales figures and figured that out somehow. That these are not going multiple households. I mean, you know what I mean?
Eric had no problem buying 7 3DSs. So
yeah, but one of the things, 3DS, you can only have one account on it. If they would make a Switch limited to one account, that would improve sales.
Yeah. Well, but I still wonder how they're going to do that with the online too.
Don't say stuff like that, Eric. The last thing we want is give anybody. We don't want to give them any ideas on how they can, further screw their.
Does everyone with if you pay for online on the system, do all accounts get that online, or is it just?
Yeah, it's.
What if I've downloaded a Japanese game? Do I have to buy a Japanese online account to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
you have to pay in yen.
Yeah.
I would think. Well, I don't know, man.
Because there's that Monster Hunter game, people could buy that Japanese. Yeah.
That gets complicated all of a sudden.
That's why they're probably delaying the online.
That's true. I didn't even
stuff like that probably keeps popping up, and they're like, "Yeah, what do we do about that?"
And would it affect traveling as well? Like if you're a person that maybe travels for work and you're in Japan, are you going to have can you access, through your American account?
You should be able to.
Yeah, I think that would still.
I would think that would still work. but you'd still be connecting to U.S. servers with your U.S. account.
Okay.
I would think. If you want, you know what I mean. I would
Just a lot of
think
lag.
you'd have to have a Japanese online account separate from a U.S. online account to access Japanese. But then again, if you have a bunch of American people that downloaded the Japanese Monster Hunter, well, there wouldn't necessarily be American infrastructure to play that online. I don't know. That is complicated. Maybe that is why they're delaying it.
I don't think they're delaying it because of that, but I don't really know why.
I mean, that could be. I'm sure there's but you know what I mean. I'm sure there's a variety of stickly little details like that.
Hey, it's not officially delayed yet. It's just a rumor.
Oh, rumor.
Yeah.
That's true.
A rumor that we're all willing to believe.
But the multiple console thing, like I know, like when I was looking to buy this, the wife was not at all. You know, she's like, no. You're not thinking of getting a second one of these for me, are you? No. Like that was not even on her radar.
Right.
You know,
300's
We got to mention
pretty big
availability as
investment.
well.
That's true too.
Well, that too.
Because if they were everywhere from launch, I think maybe we would start seeing some, more people picking up multiple consoles. But
although with
Fair
Christmas just happened, there might be somewhere.
We
That's
could
true.
have those of us who jumped on like, you know what I mean? Immediately after the January thing and they did the pre-order, like none of us knew, I don't think, right? I hopped on and I didn't think pre-orders would be out in minutes or hours. I figured
that seemed like just in the last couple of years that started happening with a lot of stuff where it's like you know, and it's Nintendo, especially with whether it's Amiibo or the NES Classic. It's like,
part of
that
it's the
didn't
rise
even
of
have a pre-order.
bots and scripts and the modern eBay scalping economy, but part of it is definitely marketing and short run production things and things like that.
Scarcity as marketing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Nope.
Well, before we jump on to getting into pure rumor land, we do need to we have one more topic, and that is Hamster is planning to bring 800, not 80, not 8, but 800 games to the Switch.
They have any
Wouldn't that
relation
be nice to get
Hamster?
lost in the eShop?
That's right. And of course, most of these will be, or the focus will be on Neo Geo games.
So, is that the company that puts those out? Did I not realize that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hamster.
I didn't realize that either.
Okay.
So
they are going to drop
classics.
Are they going to be Nintendo's Virtual Console? Or
I don't think so. I think they're just doing the arcade versions. But the arcade classics is a thing on other systems where they have tons of different games by, different companies. There's a Contra game, the arcade version of Contra. They basically make arcade ports, and I think that's what their focus is on.
No, and fair enough. But I mean, I don't know, man. 800 games. And who here has bought a Neo Geo anything?
I have on the Wii U.
Why am I not surprised?
No, wait, it's a Wii, not.
You know what? On the Wii, I actually have a Wii disc that was heavily discounted. That's got the Metal Slug trilogy, and it was probably like $5 for Wii. But I'm not going to pay $8 a piece for them on the Wii the Switch.
Yeah, I haven't bought any for the Switch.
None here.
I'm not going to.
Switch prices are unreasonable. Yes, who's buying those?
Well, somebody, because Versus Super Mario is like number 3 in the eShop this week.
Well, don't forget that what was it? Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 outsold Rocket League, so its validity is in question.
Rocket League, by the way, is still number 1 in the eShop this week.
Okay.
That it still makes me happy to see that. That like things like Doom and Rocket League were a big bellwether to me. Will this really sell? And it sounds like for the most part, all that stuff has Skyrim, LA Noire, like all that stuff seems to be doing all right. Yeah. Well, Stardew, like all the indie stuff, I never really worried about. That's been doing stuff.
Rocket League's an indie.
Well, okay.
Psyonix isn't a huge thing.
Yes, but it's grown beyond that now, and it's an indie, but
it's an indie. Yeah.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you're only an indie if it's like two guys in a garage.
Yeah.
I've said something similar before, but no, yeah, Rocket League though is a because it's a 3D game and it's taxing. It's something that came from higher end consoles and PCs, even though it's an indie title.
Not to make it too dirty, but it's like when you hear about a porn star that tries to break through to mainstream acting. It's like that's kind of how these are. These are indies, like Cuphead. It's a little indie, but then it breaks through to the mainstream, and it kind of becomes a AAA or Shovel Knight. Or,
stuff. Well, it's
yeah,
like this stuff
Stardew.
coming to Switch is like porn stars showing up on children's shows, right?
That's true.
That's
Which-
Doom on a Nintendo console. That's kind of what that's
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, which is I don't know how that sold, because I think a lot of people felt the way that we did about the $60 price tag for Doom was kind of insulting. Even though they obviously had to do a lot of work on it just to make it work. Like that one didn't hang around the bestsellers too well, or too long on the Switch, but it did enough.
Bethesda has to. Here's the thing about it. Even on like Steam and stuff, when I bought it, I think I paid $36 or something for it, like a few months after it came out, and within a month or two, I saw it for like 25.
Yeah.
So I have a strong expectation it's going to drop quickly, and they'll pick up more sales. They had to know that $60.
Part of me wonders if we'll see that, because I feel like on Nintendo, companies will be a little more reluctant to drop the price. But then you also have stuff like Monopoly, which obviously everyone in the world wants, is already 50% off in the Switch eShop, and that just came out like at the end of October. But it's Monopoly, not Doom.
They've made that a habit of rotating that stuff through sales. Like I'm a sale watcher on, and I, in general, but on 3DS and Wii U I always was. So that kind of junk's always kind of rotated through the sale cycle pretty regularly. I just, we'll see. Nintendo does like to have that premium feel for at least certain things. And I do think that a lot of the big publishers that are getting on board will try to do that as well, right? It's like the Apple thing; everything's a little more always.
Well, I noticed like LA Noir is on sale too right now, which I wonder if means it's not maybe doing as well as it should, or they thought it would.
Well, again, I think Bethesda probably planned this from the get-go. It's kind of like how Sonic Forces came out, and literally 3 weeks after it came out, it was a Black Friday deal. It was like $20 off, and that was announced like the week after it came out. So they planned. I think they planned this stuff in advance. They know there's a certain class of people that will want to get this particular game, Sonic fans or whatever, right? There's whatever the game is. Like you ended up, picking up Doom for 60. It was worth it to you. If it had motion controls, man, it would have been worth it to me. And if I didn't already have it.
If I hadn't had extra Christmas cash, but my real thing for buying Doom was, right now there's nothing really that I really want on Switch except
for Rocket League that you've put how many hours into?
Yeah, I'm over 300 now.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to touch on. Is the economy going to change for these older games coming to Switch when there's more than 2 or 3? I think we have 4 total right now. What about if, say, a couple quarters from now we've got 12 or 6 or 8 coming out? People are going to start passing over them, and they're going to have less sales.
Well, that's what we did already. That's right. That's what we did already with Doom, Skyrim. Honestly, every one of these games, when they were announced, I thought, oh, I'll pick that up. I didn't get any of them because they all came out back to back to back to back right after Mario, and
Get any more? What?
LA Noir. You were interested in that before it launched.
I was going to get it, and then I saw a trailer for it, and I was like, this doesn't look very graphically
I'm
pretty.
not a detective. No, but it is on sale right now in the eShop, and you've got a bunch of eShop credit burning a hole in your account.
No, I'm already waiting for Shin Megami Tensei 5.
If you're looking at games and saying this this doesn't look graphically pretty, you're not going to end up buying much on the Switch, my friend.
That's true.
That's true, but I bought Uno. What else?
Well, that's
Breath of the
yeah.
Wild.
You're going to buy
That's
stuff
graphically
exactly, you're gonna buy
beautiful.
stuff like that, right?
I brought
Uno looks
I
about
bought
as
Breath
good
of
as
the
Uno's
Wild,
gonna look.
Yeah.
Odyssey, Street Fighter 2. Bought
Yeah, that's amazing.
Snake Pass. Snake.
Did you put any time into
Yes.
Snake Pass yet?
Nah, I played it for like 5 minutes. I was like, this isn't for me, and I stopped playing.
What?
Don't you wish you could sell digital games?
Oh yeah, that's the big
AKA
problem.
too complicated, no likey. Put in some time, man. It's very rewarding. Until it just starts really pissing you off. But that's not till like the last few levels. Seriously, the last 2 levels of that game, I'm just gave up. Sorry, go ahead, Jason.
I was gonna say I've heard a lot of angry comments. I'm tired of this game.
Oh, from
Yeah.
me specifically?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
no,
before a podcast. I'm like, I'm done with this. This is it.
no, I know that game would
Yeah.
just piss me off, but I'd still pick it back up again a week or 2 later.
You know what I like about the whole concept that I wish Nintendo would get that Steam has? Steam has an awesome refund policy where any game that you've played less than 3 hours, I think,
Oh man,
you can get a refund on.
I can get a refund on like almost all my games.
I have a suspicion that were you to call Nintendo on a one-off scenario and bitch and moan a little bit, that they might do you a favor, but I don't know. I never tried.
Even though there's fine print says all sales are final.
I mean, here's the thing. I've never spent more than a couple dollars on something that I thought, oh, this is really crap. Aside from Amiibo Festival, Animal Crossing. I really can't think of, you know what I mean? I can't think of anything else
Yeah.
that I've spent real money on that I thought this is terrible, because Nintendo's at the end of the day usually pretty good about that. Although glancing at the eShop these days, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty skeptical about most stuff, and I put it off. Like even something like Axiom Verge that I have some interest in, but I'm not thing right now that I don't
That
have
Conquest
that I
guy's
kind of
been
am
raving about
interested. I feel like I'm like it's gonna come down a little bit more.
But that's the guy that played all the way through Star Fox Zero and loved it. So
yeah, he likes anything.
Not Amiibo Festival.
No,
I talked him out of buying that one. He never got into the Amiibo.
But like, I think PlayStation fans and Xbox fans that play those games, they're used to games coming out, and then within a month or two, the physical versions dramatically lower. Like the price just keeps coming down.
Well,
until everything's a $20 title.
Well, Steam is that's the thing though. That's how it's been for a long time. Like 10 years ago, we or more, we'd be scooping Amazon up, or your local GameStop, or hell, remember like when Blockbuster went out of business, right? There's always been those kinds of deals to be had on older games and older stuff.
Yeah,
older
but not as
hardware,
much
whatever.
for Nintendo stuff. I don't feel like.
I don't know. I got very used to at the end of the DS's life, at the end of the GBA's life, at the end of the Wii and 3DS's life. I was scouring Amazon for $8 games and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
but there's also a difference between clearancing stuff out because the system's dead and a PS4 or an Xbox, which are current, and the stuff just keeps coming down after a few months.
3DS. I picked up Steel Diver for $8 only 2 or 3 years into 3DS's lifespan. You know what I mean?
But it was
the original Steel Diver. That's what I mean.
And it was
right.
And it was garbage.
That wasn't garbage. I liked it. I mean, for $8, it was fun. If I had spent $30 for it at launch, I would have been very angry.
And
but for $8,
we're not talking about Sub Wars Steel. You're not talking Steel Diver Sub Wars.
Which I would have gladly paid far more than I paid for.
$15.
Yeah. But no, I mean, you know what I mean. There's been those kind of deals, but Steam is where it. Right, there will be a game that's a $60 game that in 2 years is $1 or part of a bundle for $5 or something. Like it's it's a whole other economy over there. Nintendo can only hold on, I think, to this premium pricing for so long before we're going to have a lot more dollar and whatever games. Same thing with phones, right? This VR thing I got, a lot of the games were, the big buzz last year or the year before, and now a surprising number of them have gone free to play.
If Switch stays hot, that'll
nice
be a thing.
Yeah,
if the Switch stays hot, because with the Wii, we can all pretty much agree a lot of casual non-Nintendo players bought the Wii, but a lot of them also stopped playing within a month. So if this becomes a thing and there's all these other non-Nintendo fans picking up Switches and it really does catch fire, we'll see.
There was nothing like Doom.
They'll vote with their pocketbook.
There was nothing like Doom was even possible on the Wii. There was nothing that was remotely, you know what I mean? There was no parody of any kind. That's the Wii's biggest failing. You had no HD. You had a grossly out of date processor. Like anything there was nothing that was ported to the Wii. Everything had to be custom made. Now Doom had a lot of custom work, and there's other stuff. There's custom work going on here, but for the most part, stuff can still be ported to this console. Reasonably as is.
That's what I think this whole year is going to be.
But I think that's going to be the big difference. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
The Wii had a killer virtual console though, like better than.
Yeah, it's had the best one we've ever seen.
Yeah, and you know what? I keep forgetting about that. That probably made I bet you there's a lot of those casuals that picked up a lot of old Nintendo games on the virtual console.
Yeah, they probably made more money off the virtual
console
than
bought
anything
a disc. Else. Yeah, and just used it for Netflix and for Mario, Mario Kart 64 or whatever, and that was it.
Yeah, I discovered a lot of games on the Wii because of that virtual like Gunstar Heroes and stuff like that.
And stuff like stuff I always kind of was a little jealous of as a kid, like some of those TurboGrafx 16 games and like the Genesis games, because I read at Genesis. Yeah, I picked up a lot of neat random stuff I missed because I'd only been a Nintendo person mostly. In addition to all the great Nintendo stuff that was on there, of course.
Right. Unfortunately,
another one that kind of feels like that. If Nintendo's putting us behind a paywall and is delaying this so long, there better be something comparable.
Oh, it better be good.
Yeah,
it better be good.
It won't be.
Oh, shut up! They've already got our money.
No, yeah, kind of they do. I hate to say it.
That Nintendo Online app's been out for 6 months now, and it still only supports one game. Although there
are certain things you just have to bend over for, and this is one of those for me. Like I've never bought a PS Plus subscription. I have an Xbox 360 and a PS3. I've never paid into a subscription for either of those.
Yeah,
this one I will have to pay for.
I think it's something that we've all kind of felt was coming for a while too, so you're kind of mentally prepared.
Yeah, for years I think it's been kind of the thing that our online's still free, isn't that cool? And I think the subtext was how much longer? Yeah.
But it also kind of sucks. So that was the trade-off.
That's true. Yeah, that's the thing is, and we as soon as we heard they're going to charge for it, it's like, dude, I will gladly pay for.
Don't bitch, it's free.
Online features. Yeah, well, we're past that point of don't bitching. It's free. I think we'd all rather pay for something better.
How much you want to bet though that when you pay, it's still going to be crappy?
That's what I was going to get to. You seen someone begging for it earlier. It's like, please give us this. We will pay for it. If it's better, I don't think it will be any different.
No, I think it will. Either. I think they're going to have to have a dedicated team of people that manage like a whole division. What Blizzard did when World of Warcraft got so big. Suddenly they had to make a whole new division of the company just to handle the online infrastructure and handle the big data centers full of servers that they're going to have to do this.
But the thing that worries me is like an Xbox subscription is like $60 a year. They're charging $20, so it kind of sounds like they're just like, oh, it's so cheap, that's why it's still sucky. And it's like, well, we had it for free before and it was crappy. So That's the little worrying thing.
I just think this is Nintendo's idea of saying, "Hey, we could get a little bit more money." I
Yeah.
don't think it's anything about improving it or adding more features or
Yeah.
we need the money to make it better. I think it's just.
Here's what it is. I think it's covering. I think what they're looking at, because you know how Nintendo is very dollar oriented, right? They don't want to lose. Like they will sell their console at a 50-cent profit just to say they're selling it at a profit, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're looking at it as a case of we have to maintain this massive online infrastructure. It costs, it's a rolling cost. It's, you know what I mean? It's not like a project by project cost. It's something we just have to put out money for every day. So I think they're looking at it as this is supposed to cover that cost.
And part of the problem is they might have more people playing online on the Switch than they've ever had playing at the same time. You know,
exactly.
Yeah, because like the Wii,
they couldn't deliver on the Wii U, and there was like 5 people playing Splatoon.
Well,
I mean, literally, we were playing some nights, and there was what, dozen people we could over and over.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there's that. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, my experience in general, it had its ups and downs, but I would say our experiences in general in Splatoon were not right.
Yeah, I can't say how much was my internet versus Nintendo's internet.
Yeah, like I remember Mo dropping a lot, but in general,
but not everybody else.
Yeah, and again, there'd be bad nights, but for the most part,
Splatfests and stuff, it couldn't handle the swell.
Yeah, you're right. Splatfest in particular would get bad. That is true. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
Well, I remember Smash Bros. For Wii U was just awful, wasn't it? Like the whole.
It's just laggy.
I mean, yeah.
I heard stories about it at first, but I thought they had fixed it relatively quickly. I'd heard they gotten some patches out. I don't know. I never played online because, yeah, like as has been mentioned by others before more eloquently, you just get your ass handed to you.
Yeah. But you know what? I never had a problem. Like I played a ton of Steel Diver on 3DS online and never had a single problem with it that I can recall.
We did surprise. Yeah, there were occasionally here and there, but pretty rare.
I guess there were, but it just didn't seem like
overall
a problem.
Yeah, no, not at all. Overall,
and I don't know that I even had that much trouble with Mario Kart on 3DS.
It was more problems with the matchmaking and stuff, right? Sometimes, like things wouldn't work right and the match wouldn't start. But no, overall, like as far as an online experience goes, Steel Diver was not. I don't think of it as any worse than anything I've played elsewhere online. Everything goes down occasionally.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they're potentially delaying it to really upgrade it and make it awesome, because
I think they're looking at this and going. I think part of what the delay is because they're looking at this and going, oh, now we've said this $20 a month. That ain't gonna cover it.
And that could be too.
Yeah,
I think, like I said, I could easily see them doing a tiered system where
that seems like the most tiered system.
Yeah, like where you get your basic for $20, you pay a little bit more, and you maybe get virtual console access.
Oh, okay.
I think they'll offer incentives like free access to virtual console stuff or whatever.
Because it could be $20 a month, and then you can buy virtual console games for $8 or $5 or whatever, or you pay $40 a month and you get unlimited virtual console access as long as you're paying the thing, or a year or whatever. Yeah. See, Z, what would you, if they said $20 and you can buy the games you want, or $40 and you have unlimited access for the year to any virtual console title?
Dude, of course, the moment you even mentioned that, I was starting to debate that.
You're pulling an extra 20 out of your wallet.
Well, no, not even. No. I'm debating like.
Would you?
Maybe I just rather buy the virtual console games individually, and then I keep them, and don't have to worry about a subscription.
Or maybe you pay $40 the first year, and then $20 every year after that.
Well, no.
Tested all the ones you wanted.
Well, yeah, maybe, but right. I mean, again, I shudder to think how much I've spent because it's so easy to do it in little microtransaction increments. But it's been over several years, over a decade. But I've got like 40 virtual console titles, probably more than that, 40 or 50 on my Wii U, because I brought over all the ones from the Wii and whatever. I never bought any on 3DS. I made a point. I bought a couple, but only ones I didn't have on Wii U, the Game Boy ones and stuff. But right, like if they don't give me some way to transfer these, I'm going to be really angry. Like I don't know what avenues I have, but I'm like
none.
I'm going to be tweeting them, calling them. I'm going to be showing up at their door. I'm going to be pissed.
I'm going to tweet the shit out of you. Yeah, I don't think we'll have a choice, but I also think so. It was Nintendo of Italy, so it was an official thing. I guess it's not necessarily a rumor that they're delaying this online, because at least in Italy, it'll be delayed. But that also buys them time to have to talk about it. So I have no, I have a feeling when we do get our next direct that they're just going to say it's delayed and there's no more details on it still.
I don't think we'll get it. I don't think they'll name it.
Were you going to say, Jason?
I was going to say, I don't think
mention it.
No, if we get, I'm pretty sure we're going to get a January direct. I do not think it will be named, but if it is, it'll be an apology. Please be patient.
I think they're going to spin it into a positive and say it's been such a success that we've decided to give you another 6 months or
that sounds like
8
Nintendo.
months of free online.
Here's the way they've been operating lately. I think you're correct, Mo, but I don't think it's going to be part of the direct. They don't put bad news in directs. They drop bad news as quotes later.
Although Iwata, in the Iwata era, though, they did, and they announce in a direct that Donkey,
please understand.
Please understand, yeah,
yeah. They don't
Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze got delayed, but yeah, that era might just be over. And
yeah, I think you're right.
Although Kimishima's got a great apology-looking face, so
yeah. I don't care what you want. I'm going to get it. I'm ready to give it to you.
It's just a matter of time before
he has. Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody who's in any high position of Nintendo is used to apologizing, so he's going to have to get used to it at some point.
They haven't had too much this year. People seem to just kind of forget about all the shortcomings. Sorry, go ahead, Eric.
How old is Kimishima? Because he looks like he's 80-something.
He doesn't look that old.
No.
70s.
He's 60s or 70s, though.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's been with Nintendo for many years.
80s is when the shrivel sets in. Like, that's.
I wasn't sure how long to expect him to be president, because I feel like
he was interim almost.
I felt like he was interim. It's like when they elected the old pope, and you're like, oh, this guy's only got a few years as is.
The Hitler Youth one?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everyone knew that guy wasn't
like. I felt like they just kind of were like, well, this is the guy who's next in line, so we're just gonna put him in, and in a few years we'll change him out. But with the success of the Switch, he might stay.
Yeah, he made statements when he came in that he was sort of temporary.
Put out the door.
Yeah, he made a few statements that, and maybe you know how sometimes we anybody from Nintendo makes statements that can be read multiple ways, but it seemed like he was making
everything Nintendo says can be read multiple ways. They never just flat out tell you stuff. Yeah,
no, but he seemed to indicate, as you said, he had a foot out the door, kind of. That he was a temporary. But go ahead, Jason.
But lately, he has been saying, thanks to his leadership, the Switch has been a success. So I'm wondering now that he's been in control of Nintendo.
You get a little taste of success, and the next thing you know, it's all because of me. No, I don't know. He seems okay. So he's been around like so sparingly that I still really have no idea. If you were like, hey, describe Kimishima, it's like, I don't know. I guess he doesn't smile.
It looks like he could kill you at any time.
Or very little facial expression.
Yeah.
He looks like he could be in mourning, or he could be Yeah, constipated. You just have no idea.
He's
And
the
he-
Godfather.
He's 67. I did a quick Google search.
Oh, all right.
Oh, okay.
All right, so yeah, but I also don't see anyone else at Nintendo like eagerly nipping at his heels to get into that job either.
Mm.
Well,
But
their
that's
internal
still-
politics
thing
have
was,
never been. Their internal
That's
politics have
true.
always been pretty well shielded.
Yeah. All we know for sure is that Miyamoto was like, not it.
It's gonna it's gonna be Bill Trinan next.
Yeah. The first American president of Nintendo of Japan.
I
That'll be the
think Reggie. I think they're going to start looking at Reggie as a relic from a bygone era. I've mentioned this before. I think Reggie's. I don't think Reggie's going to last the lifetime of the Switch. That's my opinion. We'll see.
I don't know who they were going to set up. I really did. I thought that they were probably going to get rid of all of the regional faces, kind of, and just
Yeah.
straight up as Koizumi.
when he got demoted or whatever a few years ago. Remember when that happened? Where they were like, he's no longer like whatever. I don't even remember
right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he got demoted.
He used to be president of Nintendo of America. If I'm
Now he's
Yeah.
chief operating officer.
So who's president of Nintendo of America now?
I think
He
Nintendo
was.
of Japan took over because
Yeah.
Iwata took
There-
over.
There's no
for
individual
everybody,
president.
right?
Yeah, it was the home office kind of tightening the grip, I think, a little bit, which is probably for the better.
Well, we're getting more stuff where they're treating all the regions kind of similar. It didn't happen with mobile with the Animal Crossing game, and boy, were we disappointed that Australia got first crack at that jewel.
every time they say that it's going to be equal all around the globe, then it's like, okay, but then some.
But
games,
it's been better this generation. I mean, there are some
Better, yeah.
games that I think that aren't, but yeah, we're getting a lot more worldwide releases now.
Well, yeah, but we're also getting look at the Nintendo online store and My Nintendo versus the US. Like it's been out of balance in the past, right? It's always been that Japan gets the cool stuff, but Japan gets stuff.
Yeah, but population wise, it's easy
I get
to
it,
keep
but I mean
the home
but
the home
yeah,
team something when they're so small.
But we just basically get nothing. Like
Literally.
Dude, you've literally got like 50 wallpapers. How can you say that?
Well, even about wallpapers for New Year's, Japan got new wallpapers featuring Mario from the little badge arcade things that you've seen, but we didn't get anything from New Year's from Nintendo.
I'm sure some forums got that JPEG up somewhere that you can.
I'd like to point out,
Not that one.
especially for our arcade bunny, that didn't Japan have badge arcade like years before we did?
Yeah,
on
that's
3DS?
how.
Yeah, they got it.
That's why before I started playing it, I found out, or someone told me that they had like 3,200 badges total. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna shoot for that. And then they went to 5,000, and then I said,
And you're like, I'm gonna shoot for that.
No, I said this before. Once I got to 5,000, they were like, oh, we don't have any more statues. I was like, oh, I might as well quit then. And then they did like another 1,000, I think, that I.
No statue that I only see when I boot up the game. All right,
When you only
I'm done.
Over,
Yeah. But
So, kind of ringing it back in here. One of the topics we were going to discuss tonight is when will we get a direct? And of course, we covered a while back that EA leaked supposedly that the direct will be in January regarding their game FE or FE or however you say it.
Iron
Fee, I believe, is what they're calling it. I think it's just Fee. Yeah.
Fee. It confuses me because it should mean Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it's good.
But then,
and I don't think anyone cares about that game either.
No, I don't know why that's. Maybe that's how they're getting free promotion for it. We'll just leak that it's on a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
But this week, Emily Rogers and Reset Arrows, John Harker said that January 11th is the day.
It's traditionally second Thursday in January.
That's right. So, what do you guys think?
Nintendo closed this week because it's New Year's week. So Nintendo in Japan, at least, are closed all week.
I figured as soon as we stopped recording our podcast, there would be.
Yeah, they'll announce it. That seems to be how it happens. I mean, it's soon, and they better roll out some heavy hitters because at this point, I've got really nothing to look forward to.
You don't like Shin
Is now
Megami?
the time for Smash?
No, that's Christmas.
Yeah, I feel like that's
might
going to
be
be, or maybe a summer.
Like next summer, maybe. Christmas seems like too long.
I don't know. I feel like we'll finally start getting probably a little bit more from third parties, ports of PS3 and Xbox games,
Grand Theft
Xbox
Auto
360
5.
games. That's got to be coming. I feel
We got
confident.
Wolfenstein coming.
Yeah, Wolfenstein's coming, which I look forward to. Maybe I'll play it.
I'll pick it up probably. I mean, I haven't.
You'll rent it.
Yeah,
I'll
you'll
rent
rent it first and then buy it.
Yeah.
No, but right, that Wolfenstein's the first one that I've thought really like. Oh, I totally want that game, and I'm going to wait for it on Switch now.
Yeah, it's nice to have that option, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you'd felt that way about oh man, what was the one that came to Wii U like a year later? Watch Dogs. It got announced at the same time that it was coming to Wii U, but then it didn't come out for like another year. So yeah, it'll be nice to have one within, I don't even know if they've pegged a date for that yet. But it'll definitely be out within a year of the time that it came out for the other consoles, so that's an improvement.
I guess that's something I didn't mention last week in our hopes for this year. And I guess for a long time you see these commercials that are, new games coming. You're like, oh, that game looks good. Then it says only on Xbox or only on PlayStation. That Nintendo logo has been gone for a very long time from those adverts. So that's something I would personally like to see, some more.
It's showing up here and there, yeah, but
Breath of the Wild.
we need more of it. Well, no.
I don't remember what I saw. Something got announced this week, and I don't remember what game it was. And I was like, "Oh, that'll be cool. That's like a shoe-in for Switch." And it was like coming to PlayStation and Xbox. And I was like, "I see how you are." I don't remember what it was. It wasn't even something graphically amazing or anything. But yeah, we'll probably see, especially a lot of the lower graphic stuff will come. But I feel like as people figure out how, just the fact that Doom was done, that's like a great proof of concept of something like this can be done. And if there's money to be made in doing it, people will do it. So we'll see.
I should also mention, since we're talking about games directly, this past week on Amazon, there were placeholders went up for 18 different Switch games, and they just said Switch with a number behind it.
Were they games? I only heard that they were necessarily items, they didn't say they were games specifically. Did you see that somewhere?
I thought I read it as Switch game, and it had
okay.
number.
So I read it.
And what's funny is you can also pre-order them without knowing what they are.
Yeah, they removed those pretty quickly within a day.
So, did they? I was going to say, because if you were optimistic, you could just be like, 18 games, I want them all.
Yeah,
what's been the history on those when those little blips have come up before? Like, I know this stuff's come up before.
I don't remember.
What was it?
Do they usually end up being legit?
I would think
it would be.
There was something happened earlier that last year. It was like on Best Buy, 4 games went up.
Yeah.
Then we eventually guessed. People started guessing, and it was slowly.
Oh, and they were correct. Yeah, no, they did end up being legit. The same thing was Amiibos, where that kept happening too, where they get listings for unknown Amiibos, and they did end up. They always ended up being legit most of the time. So, all right, I'll buy this stuff.
Isn't it impressive that there's enough people on the internet now that are just constantly searching for crap, waiting for this to happen so that they can report it, so that we don't have to.
We live in now.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably a bot that picked it up, right?
Maybe.
Could have been.
A tweet can be up for 2 seconds and get deleted.
Yeah, a lot of times people running scripts looking for keywords and stuff. Totally true.
Yeah.
And it is very, very unusual that it would pop up now when a January Direct is what everyone is expecting. To me, it's just
the
another
hype train
sign.
has left the.
Oh yeah, we were predicting it. We were predicting a January Direct. It's been a while for one. They were quiet around Christmas. We mentioned before.
Last year we had the January. Like I said, I feel like they are on a schedule now, where every year, like we've got our January thing, we've got our April thing, we've got.
And
Good.
They do it during lulls, right? They don't
Yeah.
need directs during summer. They need directs
Right.
in like April and January, and yeah, no, totally. They
But yeah,
they
it's a
like
total
their
lull right now. We have
promotion.
nothing to look forward to. We know there's a Kirby game and a Yoshi game and a Wolfenstein game. And
Yeah, but is there
that's
anything to look
it.
forward to for any of the other consoles either? That's the thing is, right? They are
So-
always looking for that blue ocean. They're always looking
Yeah.
for the time when there's nothing else.
It's Kirby 3DS. That's I think the only 3DS one that I know of that's come. Oh, and
Is
of
that for
course
3DS or
Shin Megami.
for Switch?
Sushi Striker.
There's one for both.
Sushi?
Oh, for both.
But yeah, Sushi Striker. I did see Pocket Rumble finally said coming in 2018. They updated the Nintendo website. I was wondering how long they were going to leave that saying 2017. They changed it.
And we should mention for anyone that doesn't know, this is coming up on the end of Nintendo's fiscal year, which ends in March.
March, right?
So,
So
they
they want
need
to set it
something.
up, yeah, to talk. Well, it seems like they always do one in January, then they do one kind of right before E3 of all the disappointing crap that you don't want to put in an E3.
Yep.
Your kind of boring, mundane stuff out of the way. Like that's when they'll say, like, "Hey, Box Boy Trilogy's coming to Switch," and stuff like that. And then,
Oh,
and then
what's the
E3
fiscal
is
year
the heavy
for
hitters.
United States? Isn't it begin and end in September or October?
It's not specific to
Oh, it's
It's
whatever
to
country.
the individual companies, isn't it?
yeah.
Okay.
So, in a perfect world, it would be every
December.
3 months. Yeah, December would be the end of the fiscal year. But who knows? I don't know. I'm ready for a direct for sure.
What time do you think they'll have it? Because last year it was in the morning, right? Like 9
Was it-
a.m. Or was it in
I'm
the
trying to
afternoon?
remember. Was it late at night or was it in the morning?
I don't know.
They don't seem to care anymore about
They should do it at 3
accommodating
a.m.
time.
3 a.m. Pacific time.
I think it was 7 Eastern, if I'm
Or
thinking.
yeah, it was like kind of prime time, wasn't it?
Yeah. We should
Oh,
remember.
7
it was-
a.m. or p.m.?
Yeah,
PM.
they're like, you guys want to see this? We're gonna
But
show
then
you how
wasn't the
to
last direct
feel
like
ice cubes.
11 Eastern or
6
12
a.m.?
Eastern? It was really
Yeah.
early. It was something small, but it was still early.
And nobody watched. Yeah, it was like a Fire Emblem Direct or Xenoblade Direct or something.
Wait, was it 11 a.m. or p.m.?
AM.
Oh, okay.
It was
Yeah.
Xenoblade. Because we would all be watching the Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Right, guys?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm all about that FE, yo. That FE
You-
from
You with your Marth tattoo.
EA.
Some of us do love Fire Emblem, so if someone is listening.
By the way, I noticed on my Nintendo the little 5 Sacred Stones game for
It's
100 points had popped up. So it popped up again today. So I went ahead and was like, are they just making this a weekly thing? So I went ahead and did it again because it said I had 0 out of 5, and I collected all 5, and I didn't get any points for it.
You have to teach me how to do that because I don't know how to do it.
As a bonus for anyone who has actually played the game, it is the 5 lords that actually give you the stones in the game. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can look that up online, or Jason probably hasn't memorized.
If it wasn't quite so late, I would rattle them off. But
yeah, there's a little thing where it says "Meet the Heroes" and it shows you pictures of them, and you click on certain ones, and there will be a gleam stone, and you get that.
Yeah,
I
I got
so
through
great.
like 4 heroes and I didn't see one, and I was like, I
You
gotta do something else now.
You get 2 boxes of cereal worth of Nintendo points for that. Of Post cereal.
Post cereal, not General
Yeah.
Mills.
Not
Not
General Mills, which gives you
Kellogg's.
0 points. Or Kellogg's 0.
Yeah, Kellogg's, that's right.
Speaking of which, there's another member of our group
Just because it's delicious.
who found some of this delicious cereal and ate an entire box. So,
Well, I didn't consume the entire box myself. My
Wow.
wife had some, and
yeah.
He ate it by hand out of the box with no milk, right?
primarily, yes. And then, well, about 50-50. About 50-50. But no, I actually have to say, I mean, maybe it's nothing particularly special. I actually kind of I like it more than your average cereal. And like, to me, for a grown adult, it's not particularly sweet. It's not particularly sugary. The little marshmallow things are fine, right? There's lots of cereals that have those. It's kind of like it's berry scented, not really berry flavored.
Yeah.
Right, but it's all right. I dig it. If they continue to produce it, I will totally keep buying it and eating it. I like it.
I have to bring this out on air. How many boxes did you get?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
The cereal bunny.
4. I got 4 boxes. Now
I got more than that.
Well, okay, I'll admit. So my old ass mother has some kind of weird unhealthy shopping addiction and is just out at supermarkets and Targets and whatever all day every day. And so I was just like, hey, if you happen to run across a box or two in your travels, pick me up. I said, pick me up a few, just in case. So yeah, so she rolled up with 6 boxes.
Grab a cart full.
She bought all they had. So
yeah,
old TV show supermarket sweep.
Yeah, they were up on the very top shelf. So of course she asked somebody to help, come get them down for her. And then she realized there was one more box up there, so she called over somebody else to help her go get that last box.
Call over a taller person.
They're rolling out one of those ladders on wheels.
Yeah, I asked her, I'm like, how? She explained the whole thing to me. Oh, I just know. She just didn't notice that there was one more box up there, so she felt compelled. She had 5 boxes. That probably wasn't enough as far as she
was. Catch them all.
Which store was that?
That was a Vaughn's, actually.
Oh, okay. Safeway.
Yeah, exactly. So that was because I'd checked everything else around here, and I had even checked. I have one Vaughn's near me that I had checked, no luck. But yeah, so she ran into that Vaughn's. Ooh, I should go swing.
How much are they?
They were well, where I am, they're $4.50. Everyone else is saying they're like $3 where they are.
Mine was
I think they were $3 where I was.
I think it was like 9 something with tax and all for 3 boxes.
No,
Wait, you had tax on
6
food?
boxes. 6 boxes was $26 and change for me.
They tax food in Tennessee?
Yes, they do.
Oh,
They
tax food almost everywhere. You just live in some weird state.
They don't tax it here.
So are all your prices?
They tax junk food and stuff, but yeah, no, there was no tax on mine, so mine was
junk food here either.
Mine was $26.94 for 6 boxes.
Oh yeah, we pay tax on everything
junk food?
here.
There's junk food taxes where I am. Yeah, like they.
No, but I mean, Super Mario cereal is considered.
No,
Super Mario cereal. Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
I'm pretty sure if corn syrup is like one of the first 5 ingredients, it's gonna get. Yeah.
Oh, is corn syrup one of the first 5 ingredients? Let's look.
Of course it is.
Whole grain oat flour, sugar,
Oh.
degerminated yellow corn flour, rice flour, oat fiber. Contains less than 2% of corn syrup.
Does it say? Does it say flavored with natural? What was that thing you wanted to see?
Naturally flavored with other natural flavors. And yes, it does.
It does say that. Oh wow. Right.
Indeed, it does. I'm almost wondering if I should open up. I already ate 1 box, but I haven't felt compelled. Yeah, I'm wondering if I should just go back because I'm not going to do anything with those boxes. I might keep 1 sealed. Did you get, Jason?
I just got 3.
Just 3. And you haven't opened a single one?
I haven't. I might open one. There's one that's kind of been a little bit. I think I'll probably open it and eat it.
Since it's no longer minty.
Well, it was that way when I bought it. Of course, it's
you deserve it.
Dog food.
You've been good this year.
Oh, well, thank you.
Start the new year off right.
Eat junk food.
With a taste of Mario in your mouth.
Oh. Maybe on second thought.
And of course, we're talking about Super Mario, not any other dude named Mario.
Yeah. Not Mario Van Peebles or Mario Lopez.
Thanks for painting all this imagery in my mind.
Mario Batali.
This was a pretty deep one to go for.
I will find more Mario in your mouth is. I don't think. Yeah, no. I mean, with the current news climate, but Tally, I think people have had Mario in their mouth that didn't want it.
Charles Martinet always has Mario in his mouth.
So, getting back to our real topics for this evening.
Oh, that wasn't one.
That wasn't one, believe it or not.
Mario in your mouth should be a
Super
red flag.
Mario Swallow.
Okay, you win.
So what was next? Oh,
So we were going to discuss some things that President Kimishima also said, since he's been talking to every news source in Japan. So the biggest thing I thought was he's promised or predicted rather that they will move 20 million Switch units in the next fiscal year, which is of course starting April through next March.
dang.
So that'll make
Wow.
32 million total since launch. If they sell 20 this
Yeah.
year.
I think he's looking. Is it an additional 20, or is he just saying 20 total?
We were talking about the numbers, and I saw somewhere specifically that they said they're expecting to get 16 million out the door by its first year on the market. So that would be a total of 36.
I'm pretty sure it is the answer to what you were asking. It is an additional 20.
That seems like a really
see
tall order to me. I mean, I think one thing that he's saying there is, hey, guess what? We finally can make these. And have them on shelves. I mean, this January Direct better be something else if they're going to move that many.
And what another quote within the same article or same set of interviews, which I thought, talking about needing newer games in this year, he said, if you bought a system for Christmas, please play the games that already exist. Or if you bought it at launch, we're providing DLC for you to play.
Sounds like a game drought.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I can, like I said, I kind of already feel like this year is going to be slow. But something like when something's successful, like like a Mario Odyssey, I could see them adding either a few more levels or maybe just some outfits. Nintendo's still kind of testing the waters on this DLC stuff and haven't done it a ton, but I think we're going to start seeing more and more, especially because I'm sure every DLC that they've done has been pretty successful. I'm sure Smash DLC did okay. Mario Kart 8, I'm sure did like gangbusters as much as it could on Wii U. And Zelda, I'm sure, has had a pretty good sell-through on the DLC.
When I think of DLC, I instantly think about Fire Emblem, which has been probably one of the most expensive DLC games that is straightly from Nintendo. I want to think, was it something around $75 on Echo's DLC? Do you remember, Max, how much it was?
It was a lot because I didn't get it.
I didn't buy anything.
Even Mario Rabbids, which is not Nintendo, but kind of is.
Ubi's notorious for that, though.
Yeah. I think we're gonna see. I don't know. I'm wondering though, like what else that they have. Like Splatoon seems ripe for it. If they, Jason, you're the completest on clothing. What if they did like a fresh clothing pack for $5 that adds? It seems like to me, it depends on how they monetize and what they do. Like I said, I could see them doing Splatoon, maybe make some of the Splatoon 1 courses available only via DLC, like they did with Mario Kart 8, where they had DLC courses.
Because the way that works is Mario Kart 8 is couch co-op, so there's a reason for you to download courses that other people don't have. But on Splatoon, everyone's got to have the same maps because
you could play local. There'd be enough people that would bite that you would be able to get those DLC maps in rotation.
I don't see that really being value on that kind of game. But things like like with Rocket League, cosmetics and any sort of special gear that's a little dollar.
But if he's
DLC
talking about DLC and games that are already existing, would he do more Mario Kart 8 DLC? I mean, there's not a ton of first-party games for them to monetize.
That'd be kind of a slap in the face. Go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say before we got off Splatoon, there are certain sets of gear that are only available in Japan, and they haven't been made available in the West. So that is something they could sell, possibly.
And you would buy.
No, I would not. It'd have to have something really bizarre on it before I would be like, to buy it.
What if it was a bird outfit?
What if it was a constellation of stars that just follow you around? Like I've seen your outfit in Mitomo.
My New Year's outfit. No, I would not pay to have stars float behind me.
What was that outfit you have?
It's like the 2018 New Year
Happy
outfit.
New Year outfit.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that yet. I just got the peacock feathers. Okay.
Let's drop.
Yeah, it's in
It's the one
Mitomo drop. Yeah.
Oh, it's in drop. Oh, okay. How many tickets did you spend on that?
Oh, not that many. Maybe
Okay.
6 or 8.
Oh, that's nothing. Yeah. All right.
God, I wonder if people are still doing. There used to be these YouTube videos of people showing you how to win stuff in Mitomo.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Mitomo drop. Are there still people doing that?
Yep.
Like making new ones?
It's
Yeah.
so
But they have
I don't know
5
what
views.
law of the internet it is, but if it exists, there's somebody out there obsessively cataloging it.
I'm gonna have to check later and see what the view count is on those videos.
I've looked at a few of them, and it's like it's
Probably
so
about
hard
50 now.
to copy what they do. It's just easier if you just like do brute force attack, where you just spend a bunch of tickets on it, and eventually you get it. It's just
Easier for somebody, who casually spends 800. How many? $800 on.
yeah,
How many?
but
858.
But he's
20
only got a few into Splatoon or into
But
Mitomo.
Mitomo, I've only spent $1 since launch. I have like a ton of tickets because you get them.
Yeah, they are easy to accumulate.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, there's so many of those drop stages I could care less about.
Yeah, and me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they're easy to accumulate.
I felt no need to spend to dress like a giraffe or any of those. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably bigger in the furry community.
When they're all playing Splatoon now, we know.
Apparently, if you read the plaza, yeah. But
So,
I don't know. I can't imagine that it'd be worth their while to put DLC into ARMS.
well,
I think
they've
I think
already
Odyssey and
said it's
Splatoon.
off, right? All,
Right.
oh.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was just the free DLC that they were done with.
Well, that's the thing, though. Splatoon has always been free DLC. Would there be a backlash if they suddenly said, hey, we're going to start selling you stuff?
There would be if Miiverse was still a thing.
There would be now, too.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
I mean, I think we'll complain about any DLC. I don't know. People took the Breath of the Wild DLC pretty well.
Mm.
It'll depend on the price for me. I don't mind if it's something substantial and it's at a decent price. That's fine, but when it's like with the Fire Emblem series, where you're getting one new map,
is that worth it?
Yeah, it's not worth anything, right?
Yeah.
So, well, the last thing we're going to talk about tonight is, of course, one of the most future thoughtful things, I guess, would be, he said, new kinds of gameplay that make use of Joy-Con features, and what he specifically mentioned was HD Rumble and the motion tracking camera, which we all had a discussion about earlier.
Yeah, I
wasn't
in for that discussion. Like, I didn't know that Joy-Con had a motion tracking camera. I didn't know it had a camera. Period.
That's on the bottom of the right one, man. Didn't you ever notice that little?
Oh, but that's just motion. Okay, so they just mean like.
That's an IR
motion.
camera. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they meant. I missed the motion part. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
As far as I can understand from what we discussed, it can detect basic shapes and movement, but it's not going to take any family photos.
Yeah,
that they're telling about, at least.
I think we don't really know what it can do yet.
We know that it can pretend to eat a sandwich or to pretend to be a sandwich.
I can tell that your mouth is open or closed.
And how far away it is. Here's the other thing. It does. It's anybody who's ever seen one of those infrared distance things You know what I'm talking about? The little laser,
laser
Tape measure.
measuring.
A tapeless measure.
Yeah, or whatever they call them. But yeah, the little laser measure devices. So it can do that at a basic level, because I think I'm the only one who got 1-2 switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't.
And oh, you did? Okay, so that's the only thing that I know of that uses it, right?
That's
Do
true.
we know of anything
yeah.
else?
No.
So
And
No, I think right now that's it.
so yeah, so the only thing that we know it does is it can measure distance, because it tells you how far away you are from your face. And then it can tell, that your mouth is open and closed, which can also be a distance thing. So it may not even, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's necessarily even, technically, is it a camera? That's what
I
they're
was gonna
saying
say
it is.
technically,
Yeah.
technically it's not a camera, I would say.
I mean, if it's a camera that only does infrared, well, give me an interface. That'd be really cool. I have an infrared camera.
Yeah.
That's
Can it turn my TV on and off? That's what I want.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I
yeah,
mean.
you could also use it. That's what I kind of assume that they would do with that, is make that thing, give that thing some TV remote functionality. But maybe that's flashbacks to the Wii U, and they don't want to do that.
They could technically make a Joy-Con that is a TV remote that you just slide onto
That's
your...
true. Just wait for the hardware refresh. They'll put a TV remote buttons on the back.
Does anyone know of any kind of gameplay experience you could have with those features that is something outside of 1-2 switch?
Not any good ones.
No, yeah,
Like,
not any good ones.
I feel like Nintendo's gonna
Wii
have
Sports.
more. Yeah, well,
That kind of stuff.
What did you
I
say?
don't know. Wii Sports.
Wii Sports.
Mm.
Those kinds of things, I think, will come up, and I look forward to it. Again, this gives me a big geek boner. I'm Mr. Gimmick. I love this stuff. I just hope they do something fun with it and useful. I hope it's there for a good reason and not right. It's just like with any of their technologies. There's the waggle version where it's half-assed and lame, or there's something really well done like Skyward Sword or whatever.
Well, I've said this before, but the funny thing about waggle control is I did a lot better with Wii Sports, and then when I did Wii Sports, what's the one for Wii U? Wii Sports Club, like the 1-to-1, I'm like way worse at it, and I'm like, oh, I miss waggle control.
Yeah, I just don't see any meaningful experiences that Nintendo's going to be able to do that's going to make me want to engage with something like that for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, the sports kind of seems like a shoe-in topic, but they also have strayed strongly away from me. I mean, but they could totally do Switch Sports and put Mario in it, or maybe Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games in the town at which we will not name because we cannot agree on what part of the country it's in.
Yeah,
I agree.
Pyeongchang.
Pyeongchang, South
yeah.
Korea.
I don't know. It's like the I only see Nintendo for right now really using this stuff, and I kind of feel like this is gonna, by just him saying that, this is gonna be the year of more cutesy 1-2 switchy type things, which nothing this year should give them the impression that people want more of those.
That's really gonna move a lot of systems.
Yeah, that'll get them up to the 20 million.
I keep thinking about that one Christmas we had where we got Animal Crossing and Metroid Blast Ball, and that one, or I guess it's Federation Force with Blast Ball. But we got several games that we were expecting sequels to, and they were really not that great of a game.
Yeah.
So that's what I keep thinking about new play experiences, is that.
Yeah.
Well, that was when Reggie had his awesome line of, we're going to give you the games that you didn't know you wanted.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
And boy, did he ever. He gave us the games we didn't know we didn't want. Yeah, I don't know. It's scary, but I feel like, I could easily see the media turning and being like, well, 2017 was the year of the Switch, and 2018 was the year the Switch died.
I mean, that's a scary thought. They've had a lot of great success, but They haven't
'cause,
had
like-
enough success to sustain them for.
Yeah, because I mean, at this point,
A
they've
drought.
only sold as many, even less than or as many, or a little bit more than the Wii U, right?
That's right.
Yeah, less based on what they've actually released sales figures wise, but
Yeah.
they're getting there close. But yeah, I mean, it's still pretty make and break. We'll see what they did. You know, I expect some holiday numbers to come out soon.
And that might be what we get in the direct as well. I can very well see them saying the Switch is now sold, and a number, because they like to bring up their numbers
Yeah, when they're good.
when they're good.
Star Fox Zero has now sold 50 units. By the way, like that's a good example of what we were talking about earlier with their prices. Star Fox Zero is probably the biggest bomb they had on the Wii U. It's still $50. There's still no deal or incentivization. Just pay me full price.
It's Nintendo, baby.
That's because they're
Yeah.
embarrassed of it.
Yeah.
They can't admit it's a failure. We
Yeah.
might see that. I think this will be the year of the port.
Last year wasn't the year of the
Yeah.
port.
Well, kind of, but I
Well,
think this will continue. I think they can ramp it up, and we'll see Donkey Kong. We might see Smash.
Amiibo
Might
Festival. Deluxe.
I don't
Yeah.
think those 18 games, if they are legitimately 18 games that will be announced in January, I do not think they are 18 games that are not ports. I think most of them will be ports.
Yeah.
Will be.
Well, they could
Little
also not
add-ons.
necessarily all be 18 first-party games either.
Right. That's what I was
Yeah.
trying to go for there.
So one of them's Fee.
Right.
Yeah. Aptly
Or
named.
whatever. Yeah, and then Shin Megami maybe. I don't know if that one's already been
They already announced that
announced,
one, didn't
but
they?
yeah.
Oh, it
Maybe
could be
the
one of
only
the
one that pays
coming
attention.
soon. Whoa. Would they be coming? That wouldn't be one of the ones that said coming soon because it's already. Oh, it could be. Yeah, could be one. Shin Megami Tensei
Yeah, but
5.
we'll see more. So the other day I was looking at that Namco museum because I've got eShop credit sitting, and I looked at it and I said, "Man, that should be like $5."
Yeah. I looked at it too. Before
Um,
sales were going on. It's like,
yeah, I wondered. Yeah, they haven't really put that on sale yet, have they? It's just
not that I can recall.
the only games in it that I care about are Pac-Man, Galaga, and Dig Dug, and I'm not willing to spend $10 a piece on those. So
I'd
to
like to
make
play
its
the
$30 price,
multiplayer Pac-Man just so we can finally play it.
just so you could say you've played it.
Yeah. Well,
Do you need a second Switch though?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I meant online. The online feature where you can just download.
Oh yeah. So you can use that other app, but I don't know. We might see more. I expect some more stuff like that maybe to come up this year.
Definitely.
Collections. That Mega Man collection might be one of them.
Yeah.
Boy, I'd love to hear that Disney Afternoon coming.
Okami HD, that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
That's another title that's come out
Well,
recently.
Wonderful 102.
Yep.
I kind of wonder if there's an easy way for them to do Wonderful 101. Because I feel like that's one of their kind of unsung ones. Like it was fairly well received. I bought it. I didn't really think it was that great, but that was one of the ones I heard people say a lot of good stuff about.
Did you beat it?
No. I played it a few hours.
Too busy playing Splatoon.
It was a weird game for me. I played the demo, and I really liked the demo. But then I thought, this is a pretty good game. I bought the game, and I played through a few levels of it. I really don't like it.
Yeah, it was kind of awkward, but it was all stick, wasn't? I'm trying to remember how much of it was. It was like a hybrid of sticks and drawing, right?
Yeah.
Because there was something where you had to draw the different things or do some little weird swipes to form certain things.
Right, because I remember trying to form one thing and it kept forming something else.
That was my experience with it as well.
But you could use the controller to make the gestures as well, if I'm thinking correctly.
Right. Yeah. But we could see that. I mean, it makes total sense for them to make the Switch a best of Wii U for a while. They've put in a lot of money and time in developing stuff that didn't hit as large of an audience as it could have, or been as successful, and that's a really easy way to keep cranking out hits. I would love to see Super Mario 3D World, but I feel like with Odyssey just coming out, it's going to be a while before we see that.
I think it would be confusing to the general consumer who's bought the Switch. It's going to be this
Maybe 2019.
Yeah, or sometime.
But I don't think we're going to see Metroid. Although it'd be nice to have like even a teaser. It's more than a logo. I don't think we're going to see Pokemon.
If we see any of those things, I think it will be in a trailer at the end, and it'll just be 30-second clips of it.
Yeah. Kirby and Yoshi might be placeholders because, I mean, if you look at it, they showed a lot of footage from those games.
That's right.
At E3 last year. So those games were pretty deep in development, I feel like.
Well, another game is No More Heroes. They mentioned that
That's
in
true.
August, September, coming out in January.
They mentioned that in the January one, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't heard
that it was in
anything.
development.
Yeah.
That would be
Pikmin
pretty
4
cool
is always around.
to get it a year later, coming soon.
Yeah.
I feel like they've
What
got
if they-
Pikmin 4 in their back pocket waiting on something.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering is because it seems like time would be running out to port Pikmin 3, which I don't know how it would work. I guess they could do a pointer control with a Joy-Con. I feel like I'm afraid that this year I'm going to have a bunch of forced Joy-Con experiences. As you know, I'm a pro controller boy all the way, and I feel like with Mario Odyssey, they kind of tried to force you to use Joy-Con. With ARMS, they kind of tried to force you to use Joy-Con. Like, I feel like there's going to be a lot of, here's something you can only do. Yeah, until they did the Pro Controller update. But I feel like we're going to see a lot of stuff like that where it's forced Joy-Con. But the time if Pikmin 4 was done, what was that, 2 years ago or close to being done 2 years ago?
Right.
It's definitely ready to go. But if they're going to port Pikmin 3, which I would think they would, just because it's one of their selects, they would be running out of time. But I could see them doing that. Like with Bayonetta 3, I don't think we're going to see that this year. But it's very possible if they said Bayonetta 1 and 2 are coming out in February, that they could say 3 is coming out, at the end of the year. So you do it early and get everybody hyped up, and then. But I also feel by the fact that we just saw a logo, that's probably 2019 as well.
Something else I was just thinking about, they can crank out pretty quickly without a big prior reveal would be any of the Pokemon spin-off titles, which would be like the Mystery Dungeon titles or Pokemon Adventure. Yeah. Well, a new Snap would be brilliant. And that'd be, well, I don't know how great an experience it would be with the infrared camera, but.
Well, you could, I don't know, you could do it almost like an AR that wasn't really AR, just kind of hold the Switch in your hand and spin around and take pictures of stuff. All in a virtual world. They could do it.
Oh, okay.
Like the Spirit Camera game not Spirit Camera. Oh my God, I forget the name of the one that came out for the Wii U.
Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame.
Fatal
Yeah,
Frame, yeah.
that's the one. Yeah. That might come too. We'll see. But I mean, it'll be an exciting year probably for people who didn't own a Wii U. As is every year, an exciting year for people who don't own a Wii U. But I think we're going to see a lot of rehashes this year, and I think we'll see some 3DS stuff start coming to Switch too, a little bit, because some of that stuff didn't utilize the dual screen hardly at all.
Is there any 3DS stuff on Switch right now?
Just the Mutant Muds game, I think. Yeah.
You said Roblox?
No, Mutant Muds.
Oh, Mutant Muds.
Because that came out. There's a bunch of like Wii U eShop stuff that's making its way over that nobody cares about, like that Frederick.
Like what?
Frederick, that music game, Tesla Grad.
Oh, I've never.
I think is that coming soon, maybe.
Shovel Knight is kind of in that category. I
Yeah,
think, on Switch.
yeah. I guess Shovel Knight was on both Wii U and 3DS at the same
But what
time.
do you mean? It was kind of.
I'm sorry, what
Go
did
ahead,
you say?
Jason. What did you mean? Shovel Knight kind of fits in that category. Wasn't it on 3DS or is it a different version?
Yeah, but it was on Wii U as well. They came
Yeah.
out at the same time, I
Okay.
think, or just about.
Yeah, they were close.
So
And I also
I
think
don't know.
that
Yeah.
SteamWorld Heist was announced for Switch recently, called Ultimate Edition.
It's out. Yeah.
Yep. So that's another upgraded port. That was for 3DS though. But I
Yeah,
think
we might even see SteamWorld Dig 1 come out. I kind of want to triple dip on Gunman Clive for some reason. But it seems like that would be a shoe-in for Switch, Gunman Clive 1 and 2.
I asked this last time, but what's the name of that 3DS game that has Abraham Lincoln in it again?
Steam.
Codename Steam.
Oh, I was confused that was SteamWorld Dig because it has the name Steam in it.
I saw that.
You know what you could do? Because I noticed right now it's a My Nintendo discount. You could go ahead and dip into that, and you'll never forget its name again.
I already played the demo, and I am not a fan.
I saw it at Walmart recently, which is the first time I saw it at a retail store in a very long time, and it was $39.96, I believe.
Wow.
So
what a deal!
Do not pay that if you were thinking about it. Please buy it online.
Yeah, I think it was $3 at Best Buy around Black Friday for a physical copy of it, and yeah, even at that, I passed. Easy pass. But yeah, I think we'll start getting that. I feel like this year, I think they will probably announce some more 3DS games for this year. At probably in the Direct, we'll even see some. I don't think there's a whole lot of big ones. I think like the indie devs have pretty much ditched the 3DS at this point and are working on stuff for the Switch. So it'll die a slow death. But I think Nintendo will pop out a few mediocre titles this year, probably just to kind of keep people happy who just got a Pokeball 2DS XL for Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that should wrap us up for the evening.
Yep.
Like I said earlier, probably as soon as we finish this and start posting it to YouTube, Nintendo will announce their intentions for the Direct and give us a firm date and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're safe this week because they are closed this week. So I'm guessing it'll be a no news week.
It'll be next Wednesday.
Week we're safe.
Yeah.
But you never know.
It'll be after we've created one podcast, we'll announce it. So whenever it will be.
Yeah. But until then.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, you can always check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes. So if you have any questions or your own predictions for the coming year, we'd love to hear them. So hit us up in the comments or on Twitter. So Happy New Year once again, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Night.
Happy New Year.